Hello, this is Nikita from Plumsail team, and today we are taking a look at PnPjs library and how it can be used with our SharePoint forms to work with SharePoint lists and libraries dynamically. So what is PnPjs library? It's a library for REST API interactions. So you can get items, you can update items, you can save items, and so much more. And it's fully integrated with our SharePoint forms. So let's get a quick look at it. If you go to our JavaScript editor on any of your forms in SharePoint, you will find variables available to you which will allow you to work with PnPjs, for example, PnP variable. Right? We are going to define window.pnp or window.sp, and we're going to create a very basic form, and this will allow us to run the code from browser's console. This is perfect if you want to quickly test something, you don't know what to do something, just define something as window.sp or window.pnp, and you can just open the browser's console and run a few requests that way. So we have the form opened. Let's copy a simple example like get item by ID. Right, so it just simply gets item from a SharePoint list based on its ID and it logs it to console. So we're opening the console, we'll insert the sample code that we've just copied, okay, and we are going to change the name from my list to projects. That's one of the lists that I have on my website, and as you can see here, it retrieves the item with all of its fields. Alright, so it fully works, and we ran it with SP, we can also run it with PnP variable. All of them work just fine. So that's how you can test something from console. Easy. Now let's run something from the form itself. Alright, and to do that we are going to get projects, but not just any projects, we are only going to get active projects. So you can add a filter to your request. So whenever you are getting items, you can add a filter. And you can have multiple conditions, but we are just going to do a simple one for now. We're going to populate a common drop-down field. Okay, we don't need a window to run the code. This is just for testing. But we do need FDSP rendered, and let's make it async function. Okay, and what we are going to do inside, we are going to get active projects. And we're going to, it's a request, so let's write await sp web, and we're going to get the list by its title, so it's projects. We need to get the items, and we don't want just any items, we want to filter them first. So let's filter status equal active, so that's just a string here. Let's get it. Okay, and we are going to use the common drop-down project. We are going to set data source. Okay, and we will map active projects to data. We will map them to get the titles. We only need the titles, right? So we'll have a list of titles available in our project dropdown. Okay. Now let's save the form. Okay, the form has been saved. Let's go and test it. Okay, so as you can see here in our dropdown, we have project Gamma, project Delta, both projects that are currently active. But it's not going to save right now. If you want to save values from common drop-down field, you can do that. We will need to add a script to change event. So on change in project drop-down, we're going to get the value, and we can copy this value to another field. In this case, I'll just use the title field, but you can use any other field that you have on your form. It can be a hidden field. That's just one easy way to save values from common fields. Okay, we have project Gamma or project Delta, we save, and that way we get the information to SharePoint. Now, if we want to get data from another website, we can just define a new web. Okay, and you have this example here. We just need new web and the site URL. And that way we can get requests to another site in your SharePoint. It can be any site collection, anywhere at all, doesn't matter. As long as the current user has access to it, it will run. Alright, so now we're going to do something more complex. We have locations here. It's just a choice field, right? It's a choice field here as well. And here we have some departments. Okay, so we're going to do some cascading filtering. It's a drop-down, and departments a drop-down. So we will populate them with, well, only the options that are available for the location. So we're going to run an async function. Let's write it. It's an async function which takes location, and we are going to first, well, department. We are only going to show it if we have a location. So it's going to be hidden if there is no location. Okay? And now we're going to, if there is a location available, now let's run a request. So let's first get departments for that location. We're going to use await sp web less get by title, in this case departments, and let's get items. Let's filter them by location. We are going to select title, maybe ID, and let's filter them. So we are going to use location equal $sign here. Inside of brackets, we are going to use $sign, curly brackets, location. This will allow us to use the value from the location inside the filter. So we will populate the department field same way we did before. So we are going to set data source, and we are going to set data departments dot map. Okay, we are going to once again get the title. Yeah, we only need the title, so we can safely remove ID here, but you can select any fields that you need. And we also have a semicolon, I think, right? Yeah, here. Okay. Now we have a function to populate departments, but we also need to run this function, right? So when should it run? Well, we should definitely write an onChange function for the location. So when the location changes, we are going to, first of all, we are going to reset the value of our department field, because we want it to match, right? And if we already have a different location, maybe the department doesn't work, let's remove it. Let's populate departments with available options for this location. Remind you that both of these are choice fields, so it's going to be text in both of them. We're just getting text and we are changing text, and we're going to do that on form load, populate departments, field location value. So we are using the text choice from the location field, and we are making requests to the departments list. As you can see here, department is invisible because we have no location selected. Let's add some test values, and if we select New York, we have sales and marketing, and if we select California, we have IT and R&D. We choose R&D, which is switch to Texas, is no longer selected. We have manufacturing. Perfect. Working as intended. Now let's do something else. Let's add a text control to our form, and let's retrieve some items from the tasks list. Right, so we are going to get the current user. That's possible. Let's just make sure it's an async function inside of FTSP rented. Otherwise, await will not work. Okay, so we are using await. We are getting the current user. Okay, we are getting my tasks. It's always important to run inside async function if you are using await. It wouldn't work inside a regular function. Before we were using functions such as populate department, but now we are running the code right here directly, so we will need to use await. And we are also getting list by title. We are selecting title, due date, priority fields, and we are filtering tasks by assigned to ID. So we are adding ID to the name of the field, and we are getting current user, so we are getting the current user ID. Okay, this out of the way, let's order items by their due date, and let's also get the top 5 items. So we're not getting all the items, we're just getting the top 5 tasks. Okay, and now we are getting them here in task summary. So we are mapping all the tasks. Okay, so we'll have an h4 header created for every task. We will use title from that task. We will use its priority, and we'll use the due date. Excellent. So we'll have to get the new date out of the due date. It's stored in a different format, and we'll convert it to local date string to make it more readable for the user. Right? And we'll close the h4 tag. Now we just need to get together and join the tasks that we've mapped. We'll just join them like so, and we'll set the text1 HTML to task summary. So we are getting the current user, we are getting the items filtered by the current user, we are summarizing them in HTML, and we are setting that to a text field. So you see example task A, task B, priority medium, low. You can see them here. Task A and task B assigned to me. I'll also add a task C assigned just to me. Alright. Let's set some due date. Let's set priority. We're not using description, but let's set it just in case. Alright, and now we are going to take a look. You can see 3 tasks are available. Excellent, works as intended. What else can we do? Now, why don't we add a new task, right? Adding new item. How does it work? Well, simple. Okay, I'll customize the save button. So each time a save button is clicked, we will also do a request. So it's star similar, it's p web list, get by title, tasks. But instead of get, we'll use items, add, and we'll simply add a new item. Okay, so we'll use title like follow up on, and we'll use, let's say, I think we'll use title of our project. Right. So we'll use the title. for description, we'll use review the request submitted on, and let's use current date. Once again, $, new date. Excellent. And let's convert it to local date string to make it more, well, to make it easier to read. Assign to ID. We are still using the same user we retrieved before. If it's available, we will assign user ID. Priority, let's set medium. Okay, we are also going to, let's see, I want to use the status. We are going to use in progress. Yeah. And due date, let's set it as well. It's going to be a new date plus, right? So we are using date now plus 7. And we're going to multiply it by 24, by 60, by 60, and by 1000. This will give us 7 days exactly from the moment. So this should work. Now let's add an alert which will tell us that the new scanning task has been created. And let's run fd save. This is what happens when fd save is clicked, right? It used to just run fd save, but now it will also create a new task before saving. So let's create a project example. Let's set the status to active. Let's save. And new task created. And now when we go to tasks, follow up on project example, review the request submitted on the progress, you see everything is there. All right. Now let's add an async validator, right? So what's a validator? It's something that runs when you are saving, right? And we want to check something, right? We want to run some PnP requests before we save. The easiest one I can think of is just to check if there is no item with the same title. Of course, you can make sure that there is no field with duplicate value, but that's just an example. We will check that there are no titles. Well, there are no projects with the same title. So we will get all items. All right, we will get all items from the same list, get by title project. That's the list that we are working with. We'll get items, we'll filter them, we'll check if their title is equal to what we currently have as title. Okay, and title, what we already retrieved. Okay, good. Let's get that, and let's check if items length it's more than 0. Okay, I have an error here, and also here it should be item length is equal to 0. So if it's equal to 0, it's okay to save. If it's not equal to 0, it's not okay to save. Let's go and let's check how it works. So this runs before save, and now when we try to save, let's say, well, let's make sure we refresh the form. When we try to save project example, it should give us an error. Oh, new task created. Project with such title already exists. So the validator works fine. But you see, each time we are clicking this and, well, our button click is running each time before. This is running before we run fd save. And there's no validation running before that. What can we do? Well, the easiest way would be to just simply validate before running the code, right? We can use await fd validate. Of course, there are different ways to address that. You can run this code after save, or you can add, well, you could do something different, but to simply change that, if we check if the form is valid, and we put all of our code inside, it shouldn't run before it's validated. So our validators will run first, Okay, now let's refresh and open new form. So we will try the same thing again. Now if we put project example, click save, you see the validator is running and no new item is created. But if we click project example 2, it runs and then a new task is created, item is saved. And if we go to tasks, let's refresh the page and we have project example 2 available just as well. Okay, so I uploaded a few items to documents and I want to make them visible as well. So I will copy our text control. We have text 1 and text 2. And I want to make related documents visible as well. So working with documents is very similar. So we are simply getting the documents list, right? So it's list. We are also selecting items, but we are also getting file leaf ref, file ref. We are getting them. These are technical properties from document library. We are also getting editor title, expand editor. So this is how you work with more complex fields such as user field or lookup field. We need to expand them to get properties from them. So in this case, we are getting the name of the person who last edited the document, right? So we will use the items that we get to construct HTML, similar to what we've done before for tasks. So we'll get documents, we'll map them, and from each document we will create a paragraph, a p tag in HTML, and a link. We'll use the document's file ref in href property, target let's set blank to open a new tab. So inside we'll use the name of the document. This is file leaf ref, and we are also going to use editor title inside of our paragraph. And then we're going to set text 2 to this HTML. I think I might be forgetting something, but let's say recent documents. Yeah, let's make sure this is formatted correctly, and let's add join in here to join all of our documents. All right. So let's check out what we have. You see example 1, example 2, image 3. We are only getting the top 5 items. So and if we click on any of them, it will open the file. Very nice. Now let's go to edit form, and I want to show you something called batch adding and batch editing. So this is what happens when we are, well, adding multiple tasks. So for our add standard tasks, I want to run the function. Okay, let's get project ID, project title. So we'll want to run something multiple times. We are getting the user, we are getting the ID, and we are also going to add something called a batch, spweb create batch. So how will this work? So we have a standard tasks. Okay, this will be just an array of values. It can be anything, but for our example, we'll have the following tasks. So development and implementation. Okay, we also need some testing and documentation, just some standard tasks for our project. And now for each of these standard tasks, we are going to use it as a task name, and we are going to get the list task by title, and we are going to items. In batch, we're specifying batch, add, and as we did before, we are simply specifying what we want to add as title, we're going task name, project title, project ID. We are populating the lookup with project ID. Since this is running from edit form, that's okay. We have an ID available here. All right, so we are also setting the due date. Once again, we are setting it 7 days from now. We are setting the status. And we are also setting priority. Both of these are choice fields assigned to ID. Say user field. So if we have a user, we are assigning it to current user. Okay, and we are executing the batch. So once the batch is executed, all the items will be added. So instead of adding every single item one by one, you can have 5 items, you can have 10 items, you can have 100 items. Instead, we are executing it as a batch. And here we specify in our alert how many tasks we've created. Okay, project tasks. We will, just to check, after we run create, we will run another request. This time we'll filter by project ID. And we'll order by due date. Get top 5 items. Say get. Okay, so we are getting these tasks, and just as we did before, we'll set them to text 1. Going to be H4. Once again, we are getting the title, priority, and due date. Okay, now let's make sure everything is right. So we are adding tasks, we are executing them in batch. Now we need to run the function. Exactly. All right. So now let's save. We have text 1 available right here. Let's go to edit form for the project, and let's try out our button. Will it add the 5 tasks? And let's take the test project. Okay, clicking add standard tasks, create the 5 standard tasks for the project, and here we have the tasks available. You can see all of them right here. Now we can also use the same batch to update items. So we'll, in another button, we will get tasks. So we are doing similar way that we do it for the text control. So we are getting them and filtering them by item ID, and we are also expanding our condition to make sure that the status is not complete. So we are only getting items which are not complete. Okay, and if tasks length is not false, so if we have so there are no tasks, we just say no incomplete tasks for this project. Otherwise, we are getting batch. We are creating a batch. And for each task, we'll run an update. So we get by ID and we run an update, and all we are changing is we are changing completing date to new date, and we are changing status to complete. So we are not changing every single field, right? We are going to execute the batch, and we are going to update we'll run the alert, successfully completed, and how many tasks will run. And we will also get all the HTML close tasks, right? So yeah, the HTML will simply clear the tasks in the text because they'll be completed, so there'll be nothing to show. Okay, so we click Add Standard Tasks for the test project. We have them here. Let's click Complete Tasks. Completed 10 tasks. Okay, let's go and let's check out project example. Added 5 tasks. Completed 5 tasks. Okay, if we quickly go and see the tasks in here, you can see they are populated and they are set to complete. Right, these are just some examples running with PnPjs. You can always go to our documentation and check out the examples we have here. Hope this was helpful. Let us know if you have any other questions, and we'll be happy to hear your feedback in the comments, in our community, or in our support help desk. Just let us know. Hope you enjoy using our forms.